Clove-infused tomato soup served two ways. The original recipe from Asha Gomez calls for Puffy Lids, but I like to serve this soup with Puffy Sticks, which are ideal for dipping. To make this soup, you will need butter, onion, garlic, flour, canned whole tomatoes, broth, ground cloves, crushed red pepper flakes, salt, honey, puff pastry, and egg wash. Begin by melting the butter in a large soup pot over medium-low heat, and then add the onions and the garlic. Cook the onions and the garlic, stirring occasionally until the onions are tender and translucent, but not necessarily browned. Then sprinkle in the flour, like you're making a roux. Stir well and cook until the flour is slightly golden, about 1 to 2 minutes. Then add the tomatoes and the broth. You could use vegetable broth or chicken broth. I like to use better than bouillon broth because I can make the precise amount called for in the recipe. Then add the cloves, the crushed red pepper flakes. If you're sensitive to spice heat, you may want to go easy on the red pepper flakes. Then the salt and the honey. Give everything a good stir and then bring the mixture to a boil. Then reduce the heat and simmer, stirring often for 30 minutes. Then puree the soup to your desired texture. You can do this with an immersion blender or in a traditional blender, but if you use a traditional blender, be sure to do it in batches and be very careful because the soup is quite hot. Once the soup is ready, prepare the pastry. For the lids, roll the pastry into a 12-inch or slightly larger square, and then cut the pastry into 6-inch squares, or squares that are slightly larger than the crocks or bowls that you will be baking and serving the soup in. I used mini casserole dishes. Divide the soup among your bowls, crocks, or casserole dishes, and then top each with a square of pastry, making sure to press the edges firmly against the dish so that everything is sealed. Next, make your egg wash by beating the egg with 2 tablespoons of milk. Brush this mixture evenly over the tops of the pastry squares. This will help it brown and give it a nice sheen. Bake at 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes or until golden. Oh, look at that golden puffy pastry. And then serve. For puffy sticks, roll the dough out into a 12-inch square and then transfer the dough to a parchment-lined baking sheet. Using the same egg wash of 1 egg and 2 tablespoons of milk, brush the egg wash evenly over the dough, and then sprinkle your desired seasonings on top. I used more chili flakes, a little garlic powder, and some salt. Cut the dough into 1-inch strips and then separate them slightly so that they're not touching or overlapping. Bake until crisp and golden, about 12 to 15 minutes. And serve. I hope you enjoyed this cooking video. For more recipes and videos, visit us at arkansasonline.com/cooking.